to hear your top 5 hip hop artists, your top 5 MCs. That'll be a great.
Yeah, I got in trouble with that.
For real?
I was asked that, and I actually, and so rarely do I say something and have to pull it back.
Okay.
Because I think it through. That's why I'm so slow. It annoys people, but it's because I was taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to think 5 times before you speak. And so that's what you see me doing.
Right.
When I'm pausing, I'm thinking, I'm processing. So rarely does stuff come out of my mouth that I gotta pull back. But it's that very question when I was in Atlanta when I delivered the scientific weaponization of hip hop lecture, and Todd One interviewed me after, and he asked me that, and I made a mistake.
You left somebody out.
Well, I made a mistake thinking that I can answer just as a pedestrian fan and consumer of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, Brother Wesley on the block can answer some questions. I don't want nobody catch no feelings.
Right.
But I learned the hard way that, Brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad, I can't just articulate my subjective list.
Okay.
Because it comes off like, well, yo, then I'm going to see these people.
Yeah.
So I said something, so I ended up asking Todd One, because I was just candid. I was just speaking as a hip hop fan and consumer. I like this. Well, nah, y'all like that, but I'm not feeling that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, snap, why did I say that? So I asked him to take that down, because these are relationships. People, my man Jay Elect, I mentioned one rapper in the course of my lecture, and Jay Elect, like, yo, that's my man. So
right.
I have to. So I determined I'm not answering that question no more. So I'm happy to speak on, again, my perspective of the state of hip hop today.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 phenomena that catch my attention today that are curious to me. I call it the Kendrick Lamar phenomenon and the Cardi B phenomenon. And so what I see is a war going on in hip hop behind the scenes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes, because Kendrick Lamar's commercial success, I love Kendrick Lamar, and his message, right, is not one that we would expect to make it through the cracks of the concrete of this weaponized hip hop, right? Him and J. Cole. Right? So there's a level of positivity in hip hop that makes you go, given what has happened to hip hop. So I'm very optimistic about the Kendrick Lamar phenomenon. Then there's a Cardi B phenomenon. I'm calling it a phenomenon for a particular reason. Because I see something different in the Cardi B phenomenon than, for example, the Nicki Minaj phenomenon, right?
Okay.
So, Nicki Minaj, and I'm a fan of both. Mm-hmm. I put that on the table. Okay. Musically, I'm do I turn them off? Do I turn Cardi B off when she comes on the radio? I can't say I do, right? I don't turn it off, right? So just, however. So Nicki Minaj, I think a lot of people don't remember when she first came out, one of her AR, her label, tried to push her as a homosexual, as a lesbian.
Okay.
Right? They even tried to crown her the first homosexual in rap, right? So her songs were about her and the chick she liked, right?
Right.
You don't hear much about that anymore from her because she clearly is not a homosexual, right?
Right.
That was a persona that she was clearly asked to wear. It didn't fit, right? So we don't even hear that anymore from Nicki Minaj. Cardi B, so out the gate, she get a Grammy, right? And it wasn't long after her video went viral. Not just talking about robbing dudes, but setting dudes up to have sex, unbeknownst to them, with transvestites or transgenders, right? She's bragging about this.
Right.
In order to rob, and then robbing them. She bragging and boasting. She really about that Jezebel life.
Right.
Whereas Nicki Minaj was, a persona was created for her that she grew out of. It didn't stick. And so it could not be used the way they wanted it to be used. But Cardi B, she gully.
Yeah.
And her gulliness is being crowned because as the people, the masters of this weaponized hip hop, there are two images that have dominated hip hop and must continue to dominate hip hop according to these masters of hip hop. The bronze Brahmins and his children. The black male as the hypersexual, hyper-violent thug. So all successful hip hop got to fit into that controlling image. Not even stereotype, controlling image. The black male's controlling image in hip hop has to conform to the hypersexual, hyper-violent male. The other controlling image, the black woman, has to conform to the Jezebel, the hypersexualized black woman. Because a hypersexualized black woman reinforces the myth of white female virtue. The myth of white female virtue. By making a black woman the world's Jezebel, the white woman's virtue is emphasized. So the controlling images of hip hop throughout the 90s to this day, the successful male rappers will conform to the controlling image of the hypersexual, hyper-violent. So I'm banging, I'm knocking up all these women, or I'm shooting all these dudes, right? That's the thing. And the hypersexual black woman, the Jezebel, Cardi B's persona, but not just her persona, the authenticity that her life seems to add to that persona. They're crowning that.
Yeah.
They're crowning the real life stripper who set dudes up with transvestites to rob them. They're crowning that. So that's the Cardi B phenomenon. And so twerking, and of course when the twerk song and video dropped, that was real curious to me because it seems so throwback. You know, that's quality control, but ultimately, who green lighted and distributed, gave a green light for twerk, is Lucian Grange, CEO of Universal, the Jew that was knighted. He's Sir Lucian Grange now.
He was really knighted?
Sir, he was made a knight in Britain.
Yeah.
Britain knights you when you have in your life done a work of service to the expansion of the empire. The sun had never set on the British Empire. And so when they knight you, it's because you did a service to the British Empire. Lucian Grange, for a long time, the most powerful figure in hip hop, of course. But his bosses, the Brofmans, they're not in hip hop though they own hip hop. But Lucian Grange, as CEO of Universal, green-lighted that twerk project, which is so in your face and so throwback 90s, like, yo. But it all makes sense to me. So the Cardi B phenomenon is the really reinforcing with aggression the Jezebel controlling image of black women. Now, why I say there's a war behind the scenes, because the success of Kendrick Lamar doesn't conform to the other. His music doesn't necessarily conform to the other necessary controlling image of the black male as hypersexual and hyper-violent. So I'm very optimistic. I can't speak on what's going on behind the scenes that makes Kendrick Lamar possible, but I'm thankful. Other than this is the war, this is the day of the war of Armageddon. This is the day of where all the forces of good and evil, that war will be played out. We're going to see it played out in all cyphers.
Mind blowing. You didn't disappoint me, bro. You really brought the ruckus, man. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Man, I appreciate you, Black
sit
guy.
down and build with you, man. This is very important. My platform, it's a lot of. I directed the Haitian Jack Speaks film, by the way.
Yeah, I was just peeping some of that, like, oh, the guy interviewed Haitian Jack.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I had to have, my next guest had to be somebody extremely dynamic to come behind an interview of that magnitude.
Because that was big, man. I'm so honored. That was a great, cool. That was a great win.
Right.
What response are you getting?
It's been incredible. It's just placed me in a situation where I have to continue to bring forth a high quality guest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on it put me on a level, and my fan base, they don't expect anything less. So it was just a natural thing to do to come and interview you.
I appreciate it, Black God. I'm honored and humbled to be for you to make your platform available to your brother, your wonderful audience available to your brother. Thank you for the good questions, allowing me to expound on areas I would want to expound on. So I appreciate that.
Without a doubt. Hopefully we can do this again, man. Whatever
Just
y'all
give your
got
brother
something
a
going
call,
on.
man. I'm at your service. I love what you do. I'm thankful to Allah for you doing it, and I pray for continued and elevated success. Anything I can do, call your brother. I'm here.
I appreciate it. Go ahead and sign out for me, man. You can give us the greeting, whatever.
Yeah. May Allah continue to bless each and every one of your audience. May Allah continue to bless you and your platform with continued and elevated success. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to God.
Walaikum salam. Really appreciate you.
So Harlem, man. Harlem. I be in Harlem, man. The only thing moving game mob. Yup. 40th. Harlem.